Hey guys, thanks for watching day 2 of this 40 Days of Easter. Today we're in Genesis chapter 3, and what you're going to read today is really a sad commentary on the state of mankind as they turned away from God and rebelled against His perfect order. And one of the things that fascinates me about this chapter, Genesis chapter 3, is the way that each of the guilty parties really pass the blame on someone else. So God shows up to Adam and says, hey, what happened here? Where are you? And what does he do? He turns the blame onto his wife Eve. And then God comes to Eve, and what does she do? She turns the blame onto the serpent. And so God goes ahead and addresses the serpent first of the three guilty parties. And what I want to hit on is in verse 14 to 15. And I want to just read real quickly what it says. It says, "The Lord God said to the serpent, 'Because you've done this, cursed are you above all livestock and above all beasts of the field. On your belly you shall go, and dust you shall eat all the days of your life. And I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and her offspring. He shall bruise your head, you shall bruise his heel.'" That verse right there where it says that he shall bruise your head and you will bruise his heel, Bible scholars tell us that's really the first messianic prophecy. In other words, that's the first place in the Bible where the promise of Jesus is made mention of. And what's interesting about the word offspring is it's actually the word for seed, singular. It's the same word that is used in Genesis 12 and 22 when God says to Abraham, "I'm going to bless your seed and the nations will be blessed through it." And what Paul does in the book of Galatians is he picks it up and he says, that's a singular word. That means Jesus. What God was saying to Abraham was that the seed of Abraham, meaning Jesus, would bless the nations. And what God is saying to the serpent is the seed of the woman is going to crush your head. And that means Jesus. And I love that because so often we feel like we're beat up by our trials, our temptations, our things, and we know the victory has already been won, that God has already put the promise there. In fact, what this verse means is that the good news, when it was first proclaimed, was not good news to the person who heard it, because the serpent knew there that his time would one day come to an end. And as we look forward to this Easter season, this really summarizes what we look at. The serpent would bruise his heel. We know that the heels of Christ were crucified or pierced at his crucifixion. But we know that that was the very thing that God used to crush the serpent's head. And we want you to have hope this Easter season in this very first promise of the Messiah in Genesis 3:15, and know that you can have victory through Christ.
Fantastic.